Hey, happy Saturday. How's it going? How's everyone doing? Welcome to the stream. Apologize, started a little bit late. I'm kind of right on time. I'm right on Tim time, I guess, which is a little bit late, but that's okay. Hey, happy Saturday. How's it going? What can I help with? I'll start with the weather. Weather this week in at least the Midwest has been kind of crazy. It's been cold. Of course, it's wintertime. But here in Minnesota, it went from 40 degrees yesterday to about 9 in a couple of hours. And with that came like tons of crazy wind whipping through here, blowing down trees, branches, everything. So pretty windy and pretty crazy. But I think most of the rest of the U.S. has had fairly mild weather for winter. It's not too bad at all. I need to make my font a little bit bigger now that I see that. I'll go that big. How about that big? Yeah, that's better for me. Especially with this line I have and this weird angle I have to look at stuff. Anyways, wow, I'm so surprised. Like everything is working. I don't know. Last week I mentioned I had audio problems and had all kinds of problems. Since last week, I've totally rebuilt my whole entire machine, went a clean install of Windows 11. Before that, I was running Windows 10 for about a year and a half, and then upgraded to Windows 11. So as much cruft as you could possibly believe I had on my machine. And earlier this week and part of last week, I decided to wipe it all out, go to Windows 11 and clean install, and everything's been working fine. Audio is working perfect now. I bought a new Go XLR because Go XLR is, I don't even want to go into it. Go XLR, maybe not their fault, but they've fallen off the map with me. They're totally ghosting me with my RMA. Haven't responded to me in 3 weeks. I'm just going to throw it out there. I know they're busy, but the show must go on. So I had to buy another Go XLR because the RMA they haven't responded to me in about 3-4 weeks. And on top of that, they said it's going to be 15 weeks to fix. Like, who fixes anything anymore? Just send me a new one. Anyways, I won't complain. Great product. I know they're under a ton of pressure, but at the same time, like, don't ghost me. Like, email me back. Just, like, email me. Hey. I'll get to follows and I'll get to all that here in a second, but thank you. I'll call this out right now. AnyBlast, thanks for the resub. Prime, 10 months. Thank you so much for the continued support. Anyways, this isn't a pile on for TC Helicon or Music Tribe or the 15 other companies that are involved. Just to say, like, dude, if you sell products, like, answer your customers' emails. That's all. That's all. I'm just poking fun at them. I know they're under a ton of pressure. Everyone is right now, and things are crazy. So, anyways, don't want to pile on. And there's no bad blood. I'm just saying, just answer my email. Anyways, So, what are you guys working on? What can I help with? I will preface this whole thing with, like, today's going to be short. And I know every time I say that, it ends up going longer than the last time I said it was going to be short. But it is going to be a little bit short because I got to get a couple of things, like, tidied up before a certain period of time. I only have a limited amount of time in the day. So it's going to be a little bit shorter. So just a heads up. I'll try to remind myself a little bit before, usually in the stream. But anyways, what are you guys up to? What can I help with? I know that you guys have been working on tons of stuff. I see it in Discord. There's talks about networking, about upload speeds, about new network switches, storage, TrueNAS, CrowdSec. Some people are getting CrowdSec configured and found some bugs in CrowdSec with one of their bouncers, which is pretty awesome. And ways to fix that and helping others. So awesome. Just this awesome amount of conversation that happens in Discord. If you're not there, you should absolutely check it out. Crack Kitty, how's it going? Cheer 100 for short streams. I'm gonna keep it short. I'm gonna keep myself honest too. I'm gonna keep looking at my watch. So if you see me doing this, it's me just trying to keep track of time because I have to today for sure. JMX followed. Thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. Welcome. So let's get into a couple things. So real quick, I'll call out follows, subs, all the activity that happened right before the stream or shortly before. Prime Monkey, thanks for the follow. NapX 403 Forbidden 365. All right, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it, guys. Necton, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. And then Anyblast with sub. Crack Kitty, thanks for the bits. JCMX, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. So yeah, what can I help with? What do you guys have questions about? What do you want to talk about? Throw it in chat. Let's have a good Saturday and talk about stuff. Hype Train is close. Oh, there. That thing is ginormous. That's okay with me. Hype Train, thank you so much. Mafney, how's it going? Tier 1, 16 months, 16 month streak. Hi. How's it going, Mafney? Mathan. I should call you Mathan here, even though I know it's really Mathan or Mathan, but we call you Mafney here on Twitch because that name was taken, and now this hype train thing is so ginormous it's underneath chat. So, anyways, that was probably me first. So, if you were here first and you're underneath here, I apologize. Does this expand? Oh, wrong way. So I'm gonna say Sigor. Hey, thanks for being here. Thanks. How's it going? Good to see you. Piece of Geek, how's it going, man? Good to see you. Pro Cheeseburger, woo, let's go, man. How's it going, Pro Cheeseburger? How you doing, man? Good to see you. All the way here from Twitter. Thanks, bro. Bro, I just totally threw a bro out there when I don't normally say bro, so that felt kind of weird. But anyways, thanks for being here. How's it going? Crack Kitty, darn, I thought I could get here first. LOL. No, you were not here first. It looks like Sigor was first, and there might have been someone underneath here, and it might have even been me testing, so I apologize. ISO 303, here we go. First time chat, afternoon, folks. All right, how's it going? JCO Stom, J Custom. I'm going with J Custom. How's it going? Woohoo, man, lots of excitement today. Let me know if like things are too loud or weird because my audio is not 100% back to where it was. It works, but my levels aren't the way they used to be, so they're definitely different today. Scott Nalian, morning peeps. How's it going? Banana. Whoa, hey. Oh, Raymond Dev BR. Thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. Linux Tips. Dude, thank you. Linux Tips again. How's it going? Big O host. Oh, host and a raid or however Twitch does it now. Thank you so much. 135 viewers. Thank you. 125 viewers, 135 viewers, however Twitch is measuring this thing anymore. Hey, welcome to the stream. Dude, Linux Tips, thanks for the huge raid, huge host again. How's it going? Good to see you again. Good to see you. There's going to be a lot of follows. I appreciate it. I will try to call them all out. Thank you all for piling on and following, and welcome. If you're new to the stream, which you probably are because you just followed and got here from a raid, we talk about a lot of different stuff here, a lot of technology, a lot of home lab stuff, networking, storage, self-hosting, all kinds of nerdy, geeky stuff that you can do in your home or in the cloud. On your own hardware, on cloud hardware, whatever. But hey, thank you guys so much for the follow. Thank you, awesome for the big host, big raid. Thank you so much, appreciate it. So let's keep going into chat. Piece of Geek wiki, yeah, my wiki works, my wiki chat works, the link works. Hopefully the service is up. I think it is. First time chat by Pico B. Does anyone know of a good HTML editor for OS X? I do. VS Code. I can pretty much say VS Code is probably going to be at least my editor of choice, whether that's for log files, HTML, CSS, Python, Go, JavaScript, TypeScript, C#, anything, any language, any file, even Markdown, even YAML. VS Code is going to be your go-to. I would start there. If you're looking for something super duper lightweight, lighter weight than that, I mean, you could find any kind of like, lightweight editor. But if you're looking for something a little bit more that might give you some kind of IntelliSense or hints or linting, totally go with VS Code because that's all I ever use anymore. I use VS Code to write my documentation. That's how much I use it. Pro Cheeseburger, CI/CD. All right, learning GitLab and Argo CD. Nice, yeah. So I'm very familiar with GitLab. I think a lot of people are. I use that for a lot of my CI/CD pipelines. That's where I build my code. That's where I build my containers. That's where I orchestrate Kubernetes to deploy my code. Argo CD, I'm a little bit less familiar with. I understand what it is. But the idea behind Argo CD is it's basically deployment, but I think they work in a pull model versus a push, which is super interesting to me because I've had to do some creative things to do pushes to my Kubernetes cluster, which it does work and it works fine and it's a fine model. But the pull model is actually starting to sound a little more interesting to me. So if you don't know what I mean by push and pull model, typically some people when they run their CI/CD in whatever, in their CI/CD in whatever pipeline, if they want to deploy something, they usually, a lot of people will use a push deployment. So they'll use like kube control, give it a manifest, give it an endpoint, and push. And that works great, unless you don't want people to know that you're pushing and deploying to this Kubernetes cluster that may or may not be public. Obviously, you could do stuff like VPN or tunnels stuff during CI, but the idea is that you push it. Things with like Flux and Argo CD, I think supports it, is a poll model, which is super interesting, where it'll monitor one of your repos. And instead of you using kube control commands to deploy, it'll look at manifests and pull them down. You could use it for Docker, you could use it for Kubernetes. And that's super interesting to me, because then I don't need to let people know that I'm, one, deploying this thing, and two, write all that code to keep my Kubernetes secrets inside some other third-party system to deploy this thing. You could just have something on the inside doing a poll or an event base that's actually pulling down those manifests and then deploying them internally. So super cool stuff. I haven't decided on which one I'm going to use. I do have something in the pipeline. It's between a couple, and I think I mentioned them both. So, but yeah, Pro Cheeseburger, good food for thought on a Saturday. That sounds like a good weekend project for sure. First time chat from Oak. Evening all. How's it going? Good evening. Scott Nailon. Building a cPanel servers out, implementing CrowdSec. Awesome. Yeah, I just talked about CrowdSec. I'm a huge fan. I think it's awesome. I think it has a ton of potential. I feel like it's this huge, like, untapped resource. Either we're on the cusp of it being really big or just fizzling out. I mean, it's not going to fizzle out. But I think it's this idea of crowdsourcing, or participative, they call it. But technically, it's, call it whatever you want. But crowdsourcing, bad IPs and sharing it with each other, the other users of this service, I think is awesome. I mean, it's like, like contributing code, like, any kind of community where you contribute to one thing altogether usually makes something a better product. And so I think this has a ton of potential. I think it can really take off. Just needs people to use it. That's all. But yeah, let me know how you like it. HomeLab New. Ordered a spec'd out MacBook Pro 14-inch. It will ship in 6 weeks, cry. Yeah. I was on the fence about the new MacBook Pro. I mean, not on the fence. Like, I would love to have one, but I can't justify spending that money yet. I kind of need to wait until my Intel one that's sitting right here is old and crusty, and that might be a while. That might be a while. So 6 week out is a long time. I almost pre-ordered them when they were launched. Hey, Alpha Computer 1776. All right, like the year. Cheer, 200 bits. Love your videos, man. Thank you so much. Thanks so much, Alpha Computer 1776. Hey, thank you so much. Dang, there's another one that hasn't rolled. Oh, Sweet Tech, dude. Thank you so much. Wow, look at that, Mega Man. That one actually works. I think that's the first time I've ever seen it live. So thank you. Appreciate it. Jeez, they're just rolling in. Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, Sweet Tech, traffic with Let's Encrypt wildcard certificate up and running in my home lab. All right, works flawlessly. Huge thanks for the push in the right direction. All right, Sweet Tech, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thanks for the 1,500 bits. Big ups. Thank you so much. Thank you. And then Loken has subbed. Prime, thank you so much for spending your Prime sub on me. I apologize, all those follows. I normally call out follows, but there's like so many follows that are happening from that raid. I do apologize. If I have time at the end, I will call them out, because I kind of know where the bookends are of where I stopped. But I really appreciate it if you followed. There was probably like 30, 40 follows in there. So I really appreciate it. I normally call them all out, but on a raid like that big, it's kind of hard to. I'd be just listing off names forever. So I apologize. If I have some time at the end, I'll circle back. HomeLab New, gifted tier 1 sub. Dude, thank you. To Nusagi, employee. HomeLab New, gifted a tier 1 sub. Hey, I think that's Nusagi. Nusagi, employee. Enjoy your gifted sub from HomeLab New. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Wow, thank you guys. So much activity. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you. Let's see. PC Geek. Not much today. Maybe I'll start moving more servers to the new Brocade switch. Nice, man. Yeah, so you got a new switch. I think the story goes. I think this saga. That's not a saga. I'm just trying to fill in the gaps. I think the last I heard about the switch, before this switch, your last switch died. You came home and it was like hung, but on. And so you had to power cycle it to get it back working. And I think that's what maybe instigated buying a new one. So thank you guys. Cyber Knight, thanks for the bits. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you. And Desol Sanchado, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. Man, I hope you get everything moved over. Let me know how the Switch goes. I want to see pictures of it. I don't even know what a Brocade Switch looks like, to be honest, or what model. I guess it depends on the model. I've heard of the brand. I just haven't used them. I'm sure they're awesome. Let's see, Crack Kitty. I'm learning about VLANs and also about life choices. yes. I did see your post in Discord yesterday talking about how you played a little CS:GO and then you realized either you weren't there as good as you thought you were, or how much fun you didn't have, and so now you're back to not focusing on VLANs. It's tough. I think one of the most challenging parts about VLANs is redoing your existing network. If you start with a clean slate and you get them kind of up and going and get your VLAN set, it's nice. It's nice. But whoever starts on a clean slate, no one, unless you just burn it all down, destroy your whole everything, and then just start all over. So yeah, VLANs can be tough if you don't know what switch you're using, but they can be tough. Hey, Mafni, gifted tier 1 sub too to ISO. Hey, how's it going? They have given 5 gifted subs to the channel. Mafni, thank you so much. ISO, enjoy your gifted sub from Mafni. Be sure to link your Twitch account in Discord too, so you get the new role and a little icon next to your name. Appreciate it. But Crack Kitty, yeah, I've been there before, and I had to redo quite a bit. I mean, as you can see, from most of my stuff, I have a lot of services running, so it was kind of painful. I would highly recommend you probably already have this set up, but set up DNS at the same time, because you're going to be touching kind of sort of the same things as you redo your VLANs. You're creating new DHCP reservations, and then if you're right there and have the IP address on your clipboard, create DNS entries for it too. I'm sure you will. HomeLab new, Visual Studio Code is great for HTML and much, much more. Exactly. I totally agree. Brixius, I'm installing Kubernetes on VMs. All right, Kubernetes, bare metal at home. I like it. I say bare metal. I know you're doing on a virtual machine. It's weird terminology. I consider bare metal like a physical machine, but Kubernetes bare metal just means not installed in the cloud. So you're running a virtualized Kubernetes, a bare metal install of Kubernetes on virtual servers. So weird. I don't know why they call it bare metal Kubernetes, because I get it. It's not in the cloud, so it's on your own hardware, and however you do that is up to you. Let's see. First time chat, starting soon. Yeah, so my starting soon screen, as you could see, was a little bit messed up. That was part of me redoing everything and moving to Windows 11 and breaking all of my network shares and having to redo that. I launched my OBS at about 30 minutes before I went live, and every link was broken. I was like, how did this happen? I know how it happened because I changed the location of my documents, so I had to go and relink them. Fortunately, I remembered that OBS has a config file in JSON. I opened that up with VS Code, and I did a find all, replace, saved, open it back up, and I was good to go. So let's see. Scott Nylon, mail servers. That's a lot of fun. Yeah, it does sound, it kind of sounds like fun. Every now and then people ask about self-hosted mail servers. So I kind of, I think about it, and then I think about, oh my gosh, that sounds like such a headache to try and manage, at least for self-hosted. I mean, it's probably a headache managing it for an organization too, because you have like 1,000x responsibilities. So hopefully it's going well, Scott. Crack Kitty, untagged, tag ports, so much fun. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you're deep in VLANs right now. J Custom, second for VS Code, solid syntax highlighting for a load of languages. Heck yeah, too. And you get a lot of niceties like auto closing tags. If you're doing HTML especially, you open a tag for a head, it's going to give you the closing tag for a head, and then you just plug it in. Smart syntax highlighting, as you mentioned, like if you double click on attributes, and then you go into an attribute on HTML and try to edit it, it's not going to delete the surrounding quotes, it's just going to let you delete the attribute. Super fun, syntax highlighting, linting, everything. Yeah, it's like the only editor I use anymore. I mean, I even open INIs, I open .log files with it too. Because the nice thing about VS Code is if you open an extension if you open up a file with an extension that has maybe a plugin or an extension that you can install, I can give you syntax highlighting for that too. Even a .log file, you open a .log, VS Code's going to say, hey, I recognize you open a .log file. Do you want to install this extension for it? And you're like, yeah, sure, why not? All of a sudden you install it and you just see all your logs light up and you're like, yeah, this is great. Anyways, this is VS Code Love Fest. Dunkle Dan, hey Tim, got my M2 in the mail on Thursday for my server, and actually was just about to watch your video on what you do with Proxmox after installation a few minutes ago. Awesome. I restored all my VMs and running a new backup job. So far, so good and fast. Yeah, an M.2 drive, yeah, super fast. It's gonna be super fast and a lot of bandwidth too. So not only are you're gonna get a fast read, fast write, but you're gonna have like a huge pipe for I/O too, which is awesome. Awesome. If you're using M.2 and it's PCI Express 3 or 4, yeah, huge bus there. But awesome. PC Geek, your overlay is messed up. Yeah, I fixed it. I saw it was getting trimmed off. I did a little freshening up. You probably couldn't tell I changed it up a little bit. But in doing that, I had to move stuff around because OBS gets weird sometimes, and I had to move stuff around in order to edit stuff. The whole layering thing, kind of like Photoshop with layers. And then I didn't check that last screen. But yeah, all good. Thank you. Cache and log devices in CFS. Scott, yeah, I've been down that path before, and then I went back out of that path. Then I went back down that path. I keep like wanting to add cache drives in CFS, at least for my TrueNAS, but I never I don't know. I never found like a great use case for it, except for like power outages and writing to I think Zlog, so I can replay those things that were maybe not written. But so I should say like my ZFS pool most of the time is a lot of writing, little reading. So I don't know if I get a ton of benefit. I guess I get some on write cache, but most of mine is a lot of writing. So I need to figure out how it fits in. I've added a cache drive a few times and then pulled it back out because I'm like, I don't even know if this is really doing anything. I need to call up Jeff from Craft Computing and be like, dude, kind of school me on some cache drives and TrueNAS, because I haven't seen a ton of benefit, at least with my workload, but everyone's workload totally differs. Mine's a ton of writing, very little reading. So, Dunkle Dan, on that note, I thought, though, is there anything off the top of your head that you, on that note, though, is there anything off the top of your head you'd add to that video if I were to do it again today? Okay, so yeah, good question. So I think for those that aren't familiar, I created a list of things I usually do when I install Proxmox. And it was like the top 11 things that I do, and created a video for it. And now you're asking, is there anything else I would add to that list? Good question. I don't think so. So that Intel NUC back there, I just built that a couple weeks ago, and I went through that same list, and I really didn't find anything that I needed to do. I mean, the updates, of course, have changed. I think I put that in the notes in the documentation. Instead of using, V6, you're going to use V7 updates. But besides that, no. I mean, I skipped over things, obviously. I don't have dual NICs, and so I didn't need to do NIC teaming on there. So I don't think I would add anything to that list. The list has been kind of pretty solid for me, and I used it as a checklist, like I said, when I did my Intel NUC. So, no, good question. If I think of something, I'll throw it out there. Neo Croy. Hey, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. I think it's Neo Croy. I'm going with LaCroix. Neo Qua? I don't know. Thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. What Kubernetes flavor are you going with? Yeah, good question, because there are many flavors. Scott Nylon. What's the best storage for SAN or similar? Oh, that one's tough. I'm not a huge storage aficionado, I guess. I mean, you have lots of options out there. I mean, I for all my storage stuff at home, I use TrueNAS. So I mean, and but as far as SAN, I don't know. I mean, I'd have to get community's opinion on that one, because I'm sure there are a lot of storage administrators and storage admins in the channel and in Discord. So, ISO, I'm rebuilding my Docker VMs and learning traffic. Ooh, you even got the traffic letters right. And CrowdSec while doing so. ISO, all right. I have no idea how you type that. I would have copy and paste that, but I like it. Yeah, it's a ton of fun. Well, until it's not anymore. Traffic it's kind of tough because it's a different paradigm, and it's a lot of YAML. And it's a series of tubes that you got to all connect. And then when they connect, you have TLS and things work great. When they don't, it's a lot of hunting and pecking. So, iLoot, hey, how's it going? Resub, tier 1, 17 month streak. How's it going, iLoot? Good to see you, dude. Hope things are well with you. How are things? Takano, gonna have a mini LAN party tomorrow for the extended weekend. All right, what's the extended weekend? Tomorrow? What is? I don't know what Monday is. What is Monday in the U.S.? It's only February. Let me know. 6 players total. All right, I like it. Yeah, Halo, OG. Yeah, good call on that. Joe X, hi Tom. It's Tim, but hey, how's it going? Typo. Brixius. Head Rancher somewhat working, then I decided to try it again. Hey, Sweet Tech, dude. Oh my gosh, Sweet Tech, dude. Thank you so much. Dude. Sweet Tech gifted tier 5. I can't even say it. 10 subs. Dude, thank you so much. Wow, thank you. So Martin, Dunkel Dan, Rollers, Costonian, Evelise, I'm probably butchering all these names. Jared, RT Sin, Firo, Spider, Swiss Techno Tom. Enjoy your gifted sub from Sweet Tech, dude. Thank you so much. 10 gifted subs. Thank you. Appreciate it. Wow, thank you, Sweet Tech. I appreciate it. On top of the bits, thank you. Being here is more than I can ever ask for, or more than I could have imagined a couple years ago, so I appreciate it. Wow. So Brixius, I had Rancher somewhat working, then decided to try it again with the k8s installing Container D. This is my 3rd attempt. Yeah, it's tough. I'm not gonna lie. It is tough. Don't worry. I mean, this doesn't help you now, but I am gonna redo some of my videos on that at some point in time when the dust kind of settles. There's a huge milestone they're working towards now. I'm gonna wait to that milestone because I don't want to release something and have it all change again. And I mean, if this is any comfort, I struggle still with Rancher. I mean, all this morning and part of last night, I was going through trying to create an Nginx load balancer for one part of my cluster so that Rancher HA is working the way I believe it should work. But when you're in a bare metals Kubernetes install, like we talked about earlier, you have very little choices. You have MetalLB, or you throw an ingress controller inside of there, and then you do a whole bunch of port mapping, and then you expose it all out externally. And at some point, I'm like, what? How HA do I really need this thing? I want a little bit more than I have now, but it's tough. I'm not gonna lie. But once you get it, to be honest, outside of upgrading and changes I want to make in my cluster, it's super solid. It's solid. It's just getting there is a bumpy road. So let's see. Pro's Cheeseburger. No, Takano. Most likely going to be Minecraft. I could have guessed that one. Takano's a huge Minecraft fan. Dunkel Dan. Takano, nice. We just had a LAN party at my buddy's house a few weeks ago. It was amazing. I need to do it more often. I totally agree. I've always had this idea of just having a LAN party like in the basement or somewhere and just having fun all day long. Maybe someday. Let's see. Brixius, but might go back to Rancher K3s. Yeah, it's that's what I'm on. I'm on Rancher K3s because it's super easy, lightweight. I mean, full-blown k8s, I don't know what distribution you're using. You just said install k8s with Container D. Full-blown k8s, I run it in the cloud. I don't run it at home just because K3s is pretty lightweight and has a lot less requirements and cruft. If you're not running in the cloud, there's, I don't know. The Rancher claims they deleted 3 million lines of code when they built K3s. That's a huge success metric for developers. It's not how much code you write, it's how much code you delete. It really is. People are so proud when they delete code. I'm proud when I delete code because it means like things have been simplified or they're not needed anymore. And so that's what Rancher did when they created K3s. Deleted a ton of code that was cloud only code that anyone running outside of cloud, bare metal Kubernetes, they don't need, among other things too. They call it the batteries included because they include things like traffic and other things like that. But anyways, it is tough. I've only done K3s Kubernetes at home, and it's still kind of tough. Home Lab New. LOL, I remember we used to play Halo OG in the school library. It ran on the crappiest Dell desktops from 2005. Yeah, man. I bet it did. It's good fun, man. Joe X, you did a very good job too with CrowdSec. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. That one took a long time to write, to figure out, to do, and it turned out to be kind of a longer video. But you know, I've gotten to a point now where videos, I have this mentality in my head. If something I just said doesn't help someone, I'm gonna delete it. And you know, I analyzed everything that I said and did in that video, and I was like, I don't think I can delete anymore without it, you know, not making sense at all. So anyways, turned out to be super long, but I'm glad you liked it. It's, you know, every now and then I'll mix in a 30-minute video, and then some are going to be 11. Some have been 45. It's just as long as it takes, So I appreciate it. Dunkle Dan, we ended up playing original Doom multiplayer for 3 hours. Nice. Yeah, nice. Hey, all. Abagdal, how's it going? Dunkle Dan, we played Halo and Votech with graphics arts kids. It was great. Oh, nice. Cyber Night, Ottawa, Canada. Same weather, -25 to +3 overnight and back down. Yeah, I hear you. It was pretty crazy for us, and we had just these crazy winds. I mean, there's tree branches laying all over. Dogs are like hopping over them as they're trying to find a place to go to the bathroom. Takano, not all of us have PCs, but we had a mix of Xboxes and PlayStation, so setting up the MC server with Java and Bedrock support and doing some DNS trickery to get the Xboxes and PlayStation to join. I like it. Ingenuity. HomeLab New, here in London, we just had a massive storm. Well, I hope everyone's okay. Real quick, I'm going with Grape. Thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. Tenyun and Alouette Lee. Thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. Let's see. PC Geek, you should have tried the Elgato Wave XLR that I got. It's great. I did consider it. I'm not going to lie. I did consider it. I'm like, well, you know, if my Go XLR is out of commission for, 15 weeks with the additional 4 it took to even tell me that it was going to take 15 weeks, 20 weeks, I did look at other products. I did. The only thing is I like the individual sliders. I know I can use Voicemeeter Banana and use software in combination with this, but when I do stuff live and when I record my videos, hardware sliders are just awesome. I mean, I have one for mic, one for chat, one for Discord chat, one for everything that you hear all together, and one for music. And just having all of these individual buttons and a mixer built into here, along with phantom power for my other microphone, I was just like, this is tough. Like, it's tough to find something, in the price range that I paid for this compared to, more professional equipment. I've looked at the Wave. It looks super nice. But it seems like to me just a DAC, where I kind of need mixer features too. Maybe it's more. I haven't looked. But to me, it looked more like just more of DAC and less mixer. And I need mixer. I need hardware mixer. I don't want to play with software as I'm doing stuff and try to do 2 things at once, as you know. Geek Almighty, hey, been a while since I joined. It's stormy here, and well, I'm trying to set up 2 servers with their own firewalls and 1 print server that I can access through the internet. Awesome, print through the internet. Ooh, that sounds kind of scary. Open up printer ports, because those ports are the same ports that, like, a lot of people, 1, exploit, and 2, that I think file sharing and stuff, I don't know. They're all kind of lumped in the same. Ooh, print through the internet? I would find, I'd print through VPN or something. Or at least not port forward or something, unless you have like tons of firewall rules limiting it to 1 IP. Sounds interesting for sure, but that might be tough. Charge them back. I don't think so. They're probably so tired of hearing from me too, because I'm like emailing like every other day, like, hey, can I get a response? No. Then I can't even get a response to the can I get a response email. Takano, but I do have a couple of old Intel Core 2 Duo machines to have a Doom session. All right. I'm a fan of Doom. There's a couple of first-person shooter games, tournament-based ones like that I freaking love. I've considered setting them up on my servers before in my Kubernetes cluster, making it public and letting people play, but I don't know if anyone would, but I would love to if someone's interested. 403 Forbidden 365, first time chat. Hi Tim, is there something wrong with Rancher? I know what you mean. I tried to install it yesterday, booted up with a cluster pre-built, but I tried your tutorial to get an error about etcd to the new cluster. Any ideas? It just depends. I need to know more about what the error is. It just depends. If you're saying etcd, so you probably did it the K3s way, I'm assuming. It just depends. I need to know more about the error. I mean, there's a lot of places where it can go wrong. Some of it has to do with, getting Cert Manager installed and waiting for it to properly come up if you're doing the HA version. But others could be anywhere. There's only about 10 commands to get it running, but a lot of things have to go right in those 10 commands. So post the error in Discord. I could take a look at it. Runcher, yeah. Let's see. Chicano, today's going to be short. Ends in 2 hours. You just reminded me to look. Yeah, it's kind of getting close to where I need to be, but I'm going to keep going. Hi, Tim. Please help. I've used your remote gaming on Proxmox. I did everything you said and it didn't work. Do you know of any special bug or anything that could cause that? Asher, no. It should work. I know that's not helpful, but so my guide on passing through a GPU on Proxmox does work. It works on 7. My two servers in my rack are doing it, using it as the way I wrote it. And I've done it for other machines too when I've rebuilt them. I actually have another one that I don't talk about, but I have yet a third, fourth now with the NUC, but that one's not part of the cluster. Anyways, long story short, some things to check. Make sure, obviously your CPU and your motherboard support VT-D, that it is turned on so you can get IOMMU. And then on top of that, there's a config file in my documentation that shows all of the values that you should choose. If you're looking at the UI and you're just checking checkboxes, you might miss something in advanced, or there might be something there that you need to change. So I'd highly recommend looking at the documentation and comparing that config file to your config file on your server. Because every time I've done it, I've used that same exact config file and it works. No, it doesn't help, but that's kind of where the landmines are. It's one, make sure you can support IOMMU, and 2, make sure you look at the config file and don't do it in the UI. Act like the UI doesn't exist for that step, because there might be either your machine type or a flag set to false that doesn't present itself in the UI the way you would expect it to, or it's tucked under an advanced drop down. So look there. Let's see. PC Geek usually ends up being drive system speeds that cause errors like that. Oh yeah, could be too. Could be drive speeds. Yeah, good call. Because etcd is pretty sensitive to latency. Could be that too, for sure. Asteroid Alex, thanks for follow. Appreciate it. Thank you. How did it not work? What did it do? Yeah, thank you guys for the help. I managed to get a GSP 308 switch from Netgear, 8-port with 4 ports being PoE. Most likely it'll be used for laser tag setup. Takano, man, you got all kinds of projects. I love it. Laser tag setup. What's going on? Sounds like $7 at Goodwill. That's the other thing I talk about too. Is you get the best deals at Goodwill. I was just talking about this the other day at work. I was like, the highest tech thing I find at my Goodwill is a DVD player. Every now and then there will be a Netgear router from 20 years ago, and it just seems so high tech for my Goodwill. Meanwhile, you're finding switches and HP switches and all this stuff, and I talk about it at work. I'm like, where? I want to find this Goodwill. I want to find this Goodwill. You must live in a tech hotbed where people are just getting rid of stuff and upgrading all the time, because my Goodwill does not have any of this. Instead of the $100 MSRP, brand new in the box too, only missing the bag and the switch. The switch comes in, but all hardware was included. You lucky dog. Dunkle Dan, nice. I like to shop at Goodwill in a rich area here. Always find great stuff. Yeah, I totally agree. Non-tech stuff, yeah, I love it. I mean, I love it for everything. Just even if I don't buy anything, it's just the nostalgia sometime of walking in, either looking at older clothes, older, tools, or older hardware, older tech, or older home goods. It's just I feel like I'm in kind of a museum or some kind of time capsule of everyone's stuff, and I love that. That's why I like going to antique stores. I rarely ever buy anything. But for me, it's just like a museum. They're probably get out of here, buy something. But for me, I just love looking at stuff. I don't know. I love walking and looking at stuff. If I could walk and look at, I don't know, all kinds of old stuff, I would do it all day long. I don't know. What am I talking about? Someone didn't know they had what they had. Yeah, I totally agree. Either that or they upgraded to something newer and they're just like, well, let's give this joy to someone else. That's what I always say. It's kind of what I've been doing lately is like, instead of like holding on to pieces forever until they're totally antiquated, I kind of get rid of them a little bit earlier so that someone else can find it. Like, you know, Techno can find it in there. It's like, wow, this Switch is awesome. You know, I have a routine. Like every 6 months, you know, I look at stuff. Have I touched it? Have I looked at it? Have I thought about it? Do I still need it? And if I don't, it goes in a pile and either goes to Goodwill or somewhere else. Sigor was first. Yes, thank you. Dunkle Dan, I just looked and I saw 420, 69% in the hype train. Nice, yeah. Asher, GK, I did everything as I should, even got the IOMMU enabled, but still get that message, no IOMMU detected. Yeah, so no IOMMU detected. I would check again. And check your config because there's configs to turn it on for sure. Seagull. Woo, first. Yeah. Hey, bud, how's it going? From 0. That's a lot of letters in there. 0. I'm going with 0. It's going good. Piece of Geek, you upgraded from dude to bro. I didn't mean to. I don't even know how that came out. I saw Pro Cheeseburger and I was like, bro. And I was like, I'd never say bro. Takano, I have found 3 recoil laser tag guns at Goodwill for $6 each. When new, they're $50 each. Nice. Only one had issues. Homeland New, great question. Does it actually support it? Yeah, I totally agree. The CPU and the motherboard have to support it. You know, they have to both support this feature. Dunkle Dan, yeah, last time I went there, I found a bunch of IP phones from a buddy. Now uses for his company, $4 each. Man, you guys found the greatest stuff. Geeky Rand, I can look in a bit, but got a kid's B-Day party. Yeah, lurk. Hey, happy birthday to kids. How's it going, Geeky Rand? Good to see you. Let's see. All right, I'm chugging along because I do have to kind of and there's my kind of alarm, not really my alarm, my signal that my wife is home, which is probably a pretty good time. I do kind of, all right, I'm going to call this because I am a little bit over, getting closer to my normal time, but I do kind of have to wrap things up. So I'm just going to look for mentions and call out follows. Overclock, 5 gigahertz. Thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. Welcome. First time chat from Takani Ray. I probably butchered that name. Hi, Tim. How's it going? Good to see you. Takano, Bluetooth is enabled with the recoil when shooting. Ton of sensors. Willie article. Wiki. I thought you meant article coming soon. Maybe. Thank you. All right, I gotta look for mentions because, like I said, I gotta kind of wrap things up. I had to do it a little bit shorter today, just because I got a couple things going on. Takano, bot is on fire right now. Yeah, he's holding up in there. It's running in my Kubernetes cluster right here at home. He's holding in there. Hold on, hang in there, buddy. And there's only one replica of him, just because it's way too stateful. I'd have to implement something weird to run multiple. Not weird, but something more enterprise, like Kafka or some kind of messaging system or some kind of queue. But anyways, one little bot with only like 1/10 of a CPU dedicated to him and like 100 megabytes of RAM in my Kubernetes cluster. So he's doing okay. Ultramark, hello Tim, love your YouTube videos. Glad I found you on Twitch. Thank you so much. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it. Thank you. Crack Kitty, dude, thank you so much. 139 bits. Thank you so much. Why not 139 bits? Thank you. Appreciate it, man. Thank you. All right, guys. I do apologize. I'm going to look for mentions or these highlighted because you spent points. Konstantinov. I'm so sorry. Hey, I'm trying to do GPU pass-through on the RX 6800 XT on Proxmox, but having issues. Do you have any pointers? Any place I should look into? Yeah, I think we just talked about that earlier. The places to look into are going to be what I think a couple of us mentioned. Make sure your board and CPU support VT-D. If you're using Intel, on AMD it's called something else. Make sure then it's enabled in Proxmox. And then for that virtual machine, make sure you have the proper configuration. On my documentation, you can see the exact configuration I use for all 3 of my servers, and soon to be a 4th. coming soon. First time chat from k8s. Great communication. Thank you. I'm a terrible communicator, I feel like, but thank you. I apologize. I appreciate it. All right. Hi, Tim. Working on my first server and watching your YouTube. Got Proxmox installed and a TrueNAS VM. Nice, but now struggling with Plex in a container. I'm a complete noob, but having some fun and learning. Awesome. Yeah, Plex in a container is super fun. I would recommend if you're gonna do that to use. I assume you're doing it just in Docker. Use a Linux Server IO one because I think they've exposed a couple of things to make it easier. If you have a Plex pass to do hardware transcoding, they've made it a little bit easier. So yeah, thank you, appreciate it. All right, guys, looking for the mentions because I do have to wrap it up, and I'm blazing through them. Techno Tim, a man is nothing without his tools. I hear you. Abduram, wanted to create a blog website, but I don't want to have something as gigantic as WordPress. So many security risks and maintenance. What else is there that you would recommend? What are static pages, and can you even use them to blog? I don't know. What do you recommend, and how is everyone? Hi, how are you doing? Yeah, so this comes up every now and then. You have a couple of options. You hit the nail on the head that WordPress comes with batteries included, but with those batteries, there could be vulnerabilities. It's targeted a lot by hackers, by bots, and it's hard to secure. It's secure out of the box, but with all the plugins that you install to it and all the modifications you need to make things work the way you want it to, it starts being less secure. So it's not that it's inherently insecure. It comes pretty secure out of the box, but you have to follow a lot of instructions and do less modifications and install less things, which makes it less and less appealing to people. There are alternatives like Ghost. Not saying Ghost is more secure, but you have Ghost. Ghost is a competitor to WordPress, less targeted only because it's less popular. But then you have options like you mentioned, and I mentioned quite a bit. Hey, real quick, Lyco is Prime sub. Thank you so much. But then you have options like static site generators. I talk about these a lot. I haven't showed them a lot, but static site generators are a way for you to write your blog or your content in a certain type of language. Maybe it's Markdown, or maybe it's just plain old text. And then you run a process on it, and it will generate HTML and CSS for you. Two of the most popular ones that are out there are Jekyll and Hugo. Those are two of the most popular ones. If you're looking to do something like that, I highly recommend checking those out. Jekyll, I think, is what GitHub Pages runs on. I think it was open source by GitHub. It's what they use for a lot of their site. Hugo, very similar. And the nice part about it is you can write your content as code. Don't think of it like you're writing HTML and CSS. You're writing possibly Markdown, but you're writing your content, and then you're running a process on it, and it'll generate, beautiful HTML pages with CSS and JavaScript. The nice part about that is once it spits that out, then you can host that in an Nginx container or something very small and very, 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 I want to say secure, but I mean very small, like a web server that doesn't need MySQL, it doesn't need PHP, it doesn't need to do anything dynamically, because all it's doing is serving out these static pages. Someone goes to your website, it sends pages to you, nothing else. There's no backend, there's no way to log in, there's no MySQL behind it, there's nothing to secure, because it's just content and it's just static pages, and you just put it out there. My whole entire doc site is built that way. It's open source, it's on GitHub. It actually builds as part of CI. When people open a pull request and I merge it in, I have the whole entire CI pipeline there, building it and deploying it, and deploys it within 5 minutes. My doc site is a little bit more complicated than most people need. A lot of people have asked how I did it. Maybe I'll put something out there, or maybe a smaller version of this that people could just maybe fork and get the same thing out of the box by changing a couple of lines. But I talked about that one for a long time. Now I'm getting really close to my normal time. But look into Hugo or Jekyll. Those are two that'll give you a lot of mileage, and then a lot less headache. You don't have to deal with databases. You do have to figure out the CI part, because now maybe, or you transpile or compile it locally and put it inside of a container, or put it inside of your web server. But that's a lot less, I think, headache to figure out than managing a SQL database and all the security implications that come with a huge CMS like WordPress. So, anyways, I'm gonna look for mentions because I do have to wrap it up. I do apologize that this is a little bit shorter than normal. I just got to wrap some other things up. Any opinions on container-specific OSs like Talos OS? No. Any opinion on container-specific OSs? No. No. I don't have a ton of opinions on container-specific OSs. I mean, I've used a lot of containers that are based on different OSs. I think a lot of them inherit from either Alpine or Ubuntu or Debian, which Ubuntu inherits from. But a full-blown operating system inside a container sounds awesome. There's definitely some use cases for it. I haven't used it yet. Haven't done a ton with it yet. So I don't have a great opinion on it because I don't have a ton of experience with it. All right, first time chat. Love your work. Thank you. I have problems setting up traffic. I have Ubiquity networks, 20 switches, 20 APs, 2 Proxmox clusters, 15 VMs, 6 Synology NAS, total around 600 terabytes. Yeah, you got quite the operation going on there. What's your problem? If it's just traffic stuff, yeah, throw it in Discord or something because I'm going to be wrapping up. You got quite the operation going on there. That's a lot of switches, a lot of APs, and a lot of data. VMs, I got around 15 too. 6 Synology NASs, yeah, quite the operation. What's the problem? Let me know what the problem is, and maybe we can help solve it. All right, guys, I gotta wrap it up. I've watched your channel since the beginning of the year. Would you suggest running a Proxmox server on a CPU with 4 cores and 4 threads and 8 gigs of RAM? Asteroid Alex, depends. It depends. Those aren't the, you don't have a ton of resources. And when you virtualize, you're going to be dedicating some resources to that hypervisor and then splitting all those resources up among VMs. It just depends. What are those virtual machines going to look like? If it's a bunch of tiny Ubuntu or Turnkey or any other kind of small distribution of Linux that are doing a little bit of work, yeah, sure, why not? Because then from one machine you get 4 or 5 or 6. But you got to think like you only have 4 cores and 8 gigs of RAM. If you do use Proxmox, let's just say you're going to end up with a partial core dedicated to running Proxmox, and then maybe 1 or 2 gigs of RAM dedicated to that. Then you got 6 left over, 6 gigs of RAM. If you 1 or 2 Ubuntu servers, 1 or 2 gigs of RAM each, maybe balloon the RAM, might work. But it just depends. Depends on what you want to run. Depends on what you want to run for sure. If you're going to put like 2 Windows hosts inside there, no way. No way. But it just depends. If you're going to run lots of little nodes doing little things, or it's just something to experiment with, yeah, go for it. Go for it for sure. I highly recommend getting solid state drives too for that. Okay, I'm looking. What is the preferred way to remote edit YAML files from Home Production Lab, SSH, or Visual Studio Code plugin or similar? Remote edit. Yeah, that one's tough. I don't think I would open SSH up publicly. I'd VPN in and then go into some machine where you can then remote edit. I mean, in VS Code, you can remote edit over SSH. I wouldn't go through the front door at SSH. I would probably then use VPN. But yeah, VS Code has a nice SSH plugin where you can remote into machines, not ARM yet, and edit files remotely. It's pretty awesome. But that's how I do it. And I will say that I was just going to say I rarely have to do this, but no, now that I think of it, like my Docker hosts, I have to do this quite a bit. It's going to be changing soon. But typically what I do, honestly, I SSH in the machine, I open up Nano and I do it all from Nano. Because it's so much easier than, configuring VS Code and my remote keys in there and doing that. I know I should spend probably more time doing that, but I have a lot of hosts and it's kind of like, do I want to configure it for like the 15 servers I have, or do I SSH into the machine, internally from my network and do it through Nano? I usually go that route. I read that. Thank you. Toss it in Discord if you, because you didn't state your problem. You just said you have a problem. What would you recommend Ubuntu server? What would you recommend Ubuntu server with Docker? Or would you? So going back. Yeah. So if you're, It depends. If you want to run multiple hosts, you're going to need a hypervisor. If you're going to want to load up one machine with lots of containers, go bare metal. Go bare metal, go Ubuntu, and then throw Portainer and throw Docker on there and go that route. I totally would. If your only purpose, I mean, a couple benefits you get from a hypervisor, even if you only run one machine on it, is you can back it up pretty easy, the whole machine. You can take snapshots, you get a lot of the benefits of that. You can move it around, you can change networking easy. So there are some benefits to even if you ran a hypervisor with only one host, you get a nice web GUI to get in there, all the things that you get from Proxmox. But then, at the end of the day, you could probably do that with Ubuntu, going bare metal, and then installing Docker and installing Portainer and just using Portainer as your UI to manage your containers. That 100% work too. But once you need to go to 2, then it's kind of like, okay, well, maybe I should virtualize this. But okay. First time chat. I'm a sucker for these. Hi. Do you help with problems like I have? Mine. I have. The problem is that I cannot get my Xbox controller to connect to the computer. I tried with the cable. It still does not work. All right, I'll answer this one because I've been here before. Oof. So I think newer Xbox controllers, 2 things. One, if you plug in the USB and plug it into your machine, it should work. Like, it should work. Xbox controllers and Windows has drivers for Xbox controllers. If you plug it in and you feel it vibrate and you hear a noise, it should work. If it doesn't, go in your device manager, right click on My Computer or Windows if you're on Windows 11, or the Start button or whatever version you're on. Go into your device manager, and as you plug it in, see where that device appears in the tree, in the device manager. If it doesn't appear, you got problems. But if you feel it vibrate, that means there's some kind of connection. It has power. And if you see in the device manager and it has an exclamation point next to it, what I usually do is right click, uninstall that guy, tell it to delete the driver, unplug the thing, plug it back in, and let Windows try to reinstall the drivers for it. That'll get you USB. And then newer Xbox controllers support Bluetooth too, not the proprietary connection, but they also support Bluetooth. But I would go with the USB route. Like, get that working first. I know it stinks to have a cord plugged in. I mean, I have mine right here. I plug my cord in just because I don't like dealing with Bluetooth. But then if that works, yeah, try pairing with Bluetooth. I think it's hold down the Xbox. Oh no, they have a connect button on there. Hold that down. Then on your machine, tell it to discover. It should be able to find it if it's a newer Xbox controller, because they not only support the proprietary, but they also support Bluetooth. And that should work. That should work. All right. I'm liking how the variety of these questions. All right, I got an answer. Do you install and configure K3s with Ansible playbooks? Do I install and configure Ansible? I got to think about this one. Do I? No, I don't. No, I don't. I'll be perfectly honest with you. No. So when I install them from the beginning and when I add more, I usually don't. I have the command. I can copy and paste to my notes, and I usually run that. I probably should. But where I usually run Ansible, I run it every couple of days, is installing, to when I bring new machines onto my network, it's, if they're not a K3s node, even if they are, it's one of the first things I run after that to bring them up to a standard configuration for any Ubuntu or any machine on my network. I have a couple of playbooks and a couple of roles that I run. I just did it last night. I did it this morning for 3 new machines for something I'm working on. Execute that command with that role, sit back for 2-3 minutes, and now it's, has my standard configuration with all my standard tools and standard passwords and all that. Do I do it with K3s? No, because for me, it's, I have the copy and paste commands. Should I spend the time in doing it and setting it up? I probably should, but it's rare that I need to add a K3s server. And if I do, like I said, I have the copy and paste commands. Probably should spend some time in it, but I don't. I just have it for most of my maintenance type tasks, or like after I get a machine up to par, then fixing all of its configuration and making it standard. All right, guys, I got to wrap it up. Okay. Love the aesthetic of the stream. One question regarding phones. I'm thinking about getting a budget phone just for playing games. Do I have any recommendations? Tough. That one's tough. I mean, I feel like I don't know enough about budget phones. I feel like, Yeah, I don't. I don't. I mean, you get a lot of bang for your buck with like, older Pixels or something like that. I don't know if you want to buy an older used, but I think you get a lot of bang for your buck with, either a Pixel or an older iPhone. Those two phones are just going to be like fantastic, especially just to play games. But random question. I like it. Cyber Knight, thanks for the bits. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you. All right, guys. I think I'll go with Ubuntu Server Docker Portainer. Have you tried Ansible for setting up servers? Yeah, we just talked about that. I do use it. I don't use it initially to set them up. I usually clone it from an existing template in Proxmox, but you're going to be doing bare metal. But I use Ansible all the time. Just ran it this morning. I have, 10 or 15 playbooks. I actually have a repo out there, and if you want to contribute to it, I have a repo out in my GitHub. I think it's called Launchpad, where it has all of my Ansible collections, playbooks, roles, and then also has all of my Docker configurations, and I'm slowly adding all of my Kubernetes configurations. I'm just putting it all there now. So, and I did used to put it there, then I put it in documentation, but now I'm kind of separating the two. It's all out there. So check out my GitHub, and then look for the repo called Launchpad. I have all of my Ansible playbooks in there, along with roles, and all of my Docker config, and soon all of my Kubernetes config. It's all going there because I'm tired of like keeping it here, putting some in docs and sprinkling it in everywhere. That's my repo for all my source files. Woo! All right, guys. Thank you so much. Man, this was, and I ended right on my normal time. Hey, thank you guys so much for tuning in, for spending an hour with me on a Saturday. I know that you guys have a lot going on, so I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. There was follows, bits, raids, hosts, subs. I really appreciate it. Renewed, new, first-time chats, everything you could possibly imagine. So thank you so much. I appreciate it. And lots of follows here at the end. I really appreciate it. I usually call them all out, but when it was something as big as a raid of 125 and then them rolling in as I'm signing out, I apologize. I usually read them. So anyways, I'll be back next Saturday for sure. And I will probably have something for you this week too. If you have any other questions or I didn't answer your question or skipped over something, I apologize. You can join the Discord. Lots of people in there who are in the channel now and lots of people who aren't in the Twitch stream right now. So highly encourage you to join. It's pretty laid back, but a lot of people who like to play with tech, host things and serve things and build servers and print stuff. And so, yeah. Anyways, I'll be back. Have a great week. Be good to each other. Take care, folks.